Good morning from Connery, where we see Trinidad and Tobago versus the Leeward Islands. And we can greet you with the news that the Leewards won the toss and decided that they will field first. And the Leeward side for the game today, we have seen a couple of changes. Jazara Claxton is out because of exams. Davonic Maynard has been replaced in the side as well. And so the playing 11, Sanello Willett captain, Amanda Edwards vice captain, Therese Parker, Shean Moses, Roselle Liebert, Melissa Clark, Tinetta McCoy, Kimberly Anthony, Davana Claxton, and Tonya Martin. And for Trinidad and Tobago, Anissa Mohammed is captain, Renice Boyce, Chanel Saw, Steffi Sugrim, Karishma Ramharak, Kedi Jazz Mitchell, Samara Ramnath, Dejanaba Joseph, Celine O'Neill, Brittany Cooper, and Shalini Somaru. First ball in the game. That's Melissa Clark starting. It's pitch wide of the off stump, going further away. And wide is signaled by umpire Jacqueline Williams, who is out there in the middle alongside Maria Abbott. The third umpire today is Keller Joseph. Alongside me is Al Edwards.
Good morning to you, Carlisle, and good morning to everyone listening out there.
Played quietly in the offside. It's 50 overs. Leewards against Trinidad and Tobago.
The fact that Leewards won the toss and elected to field, probably the 1 wicket loss in their last game may have encouraged them to chase again.
Delivery, which is in the block hole. Melissa bowled very well in the last game. She was miserly. It's Boyce who is on strike for Trinidad and Tobago.
Very miserly. In fact, I sent an invitation to run my economics department.
It's bowling from the community center end. And for this delivery, cut away into the offside. The fielder is moving to her left, and it goes through her legs. And so what should have really been 1 will end up being 2. And Trinidad and Tobago move on now to 3 for no loss in the first over.
A good move by Tinetta McCoy to do some coverage and eventually had to do the cleaning up. But we've seen a number of these things in the game so far. A little bit of misfeeling. Needs to tighten up.
Short delivery, played in the air. It will go down to third man. The fielder comes off the boundary. That looks like Saxena. And a single then to Boyce. That will take her on to 3. And the score moves on to 4 for no loss Trinidad and Tobago in the first over.
For without loss, a quiet start. I think that they're looking to consolidate. Nothing overly aggressive even in the first over. Just watchful first over.
Saw is getting one down the leg side. It's called and signal wide. And so the score will move on to 5.
We're getting a mixed bag here from Clark. At one point she's way outside the off stump, then she goes on the leg side. Not too far down the leg side, but in this version of the game.
Delivery, which sees her driving, not moving her feet, Al, and it went through to the keeper. No harm done.
Was that beaten? Or
yes, she was.
Or leaving it outside the off stump? Beaten, all ends up.
Well and truly beaten. Shorter delivery to bring up the end of the over, played back down the track. 1 gone. Trinidad and Tobago are 5 for no loss.
You mentioned earlier Carlisle, and I've been asking and nobody answering me. Maybe you can be the one, my savior. How did they come up with the black hole? How did that get into cricket, the cricket language, up into the black hole?
I'll do some research, Al. I have no idea. I'll confess that I have no idea.
I mean, we can go with things like covers. That's where they used to put the covers. Or mid-wicket, because it's more or less in line with mid-wicket. And long off means that you're way long, way down yonder. But I can't figure out black hole.
Martin will pick up the attack from the media center end. And in the last game, she picked up 4 and bowled well.
Very well. I think she deserves a fifer in that game. She was up to the bat, moving it away, and I think she got a little in swing in some instances.
Bowls to Boyce, and she's playing it down to third man for a single to take the score on to 6, and Boyce moves on to 4. Short delivery. Saw is looking to play it into the offside. Misses. Not moving her feet at that time.
And even when she's doing the practice shots now, she's still not moving her feet. She need to pick up the line for us with that left foot. Little trigger movement on that occasion. She was able to negotiate better. Just nudge it out into the outside. Really, I'm sure the best places on the wall.
Played, just chopped, just on the offside of the pitch, bouncing just wide of the stumps. No harm done. Saw is yet to score from her 7 deliveries faced. And Boyce is on 4. 6 for no loss at the end of over number 2. So just 1 run coming from that over, Al.
As expected of Martin, keeping things tight. You understand she got a little exposure in England. And so she's showing that the investment in her was well worth it. Tight in the last game, tight in this game. Bothered Saw. Beating her once or twice. And couldn't get off the mark. Saw. Had to treat her with respect.
Boyce is facing up to Melissa Clark. And this is a good delivery, just touching down outside the line of the off stump, but she shows good experience, Boyce, and leaves it alone.
Later for you, she says. Later for you. As they look to settle in.
This one is worked into the onside, and the fielder from long leg moves around smartly to her left, and a single to Boyce that will take on to 5. The score 7 for no loss, win over number 3.
Good looking shot, good fielding. She was alert, got around, Maybe she got a favorable bounce, but it was well done.
Played back down there quickly through for a single, and had that easily as well. 8 for no loss as Saw gets a first run.
Well, she might have been anxious in getting off that mark. It was a race between Boyce and Sherry and Moses, and the fact that Moses had to bend to pick up and then throw, and Boyce was on her cycle. She got there first.
Clark is bowling a good delivery, which is played out in the offside to extra cover. No run. So Boyce is showing good patience, good technique. She's on 5. Trinidad and Tobago asks to bat first. 8 for no loss.
Nothing overly aggressive.
This one is steered away down to backward point. No runs. 2 singles from the over so far. Shot down the leg side. Attempted pull shot, missed it. And the keeper doesn't take cleanly, so they'll get an extra run. So that will be 2, 1 from the wide. And they ran 1, so the score moves to 10 for no loss. 1 delivery left in over number 3. Good delivery to finish the over. And Saw just drops her arms and allows it through to the keeper. So 3 gone. Trinidad and Tobago asks to bat first. 10 for no loss.
It seems as if they're intent on just picking up singles in these early goings, making sure they get accustomed to the conditions. It looks a good track.
Dry,
Like
very dry.
Given the conditions, of course. So it might be good for batting early on. And then maybe when the heat comes out, you have a little bit of expansion of the clay. But for the moment, Boyce is showing all of her experience in just nudging the ball into the open spaces, clip on the leg side, and looking for quick singles. There's one up in the black hole. Negotiated well by Boyce.
To Boyce, who just plays it away into the offside. Finds the fielder almost on the edge of the circle at backward point, and they had enough time to go through for a single. So Boyce goes on to 6, and it's 11 for no loss Trinidad and Tobago in over number 4.
Call that soft hands.
Martin to Saw, and she's cut in firmly for the first boundary of the game. Was given some width, and she measured it very well. Was on the back foot and just cut it firmly down to the vacant boundary for 4 to bring up the first boundary of the game. And it's now 15 for no loss as Saw goes on to 5.
Yeah, well, she was practicing the shot, but I think what worked well for her on that occasion was the trigger movement. So trigger movement was back on the cross, picked up the line, and then had enough time to lean back and slap it to the left of that cover field and to the right of the backward point. No chance of recovery.
Width was the key factor there.
A loose one from Martin, a real loose one.
She bowls again to Saw, and is shorter but closer to the batter this time, and play down to backward point for no runs.
Into her body. bringing it back, but as you said, a bit too short. So Shaw was able to stand up tall. Closer. Ooh,
Martin bowls a
that one.
slow delivery, which is above waist height. That's a slow delivery gone horribly wrong. Down the leg side, above waist height, so it signaled a no ball. That will be 5 added to the total to take it to 20 for no loss. And more importantly, the next delivery will be a free hit.
Oh, everything went wrong. Murphy's Law. Like it slipped out of her hand, went high, went wide, and the keeper couldn't collect it.
Can't recall seeing too many of those when she bowled in the last game at Warner Park.
No, not at all. I don't think she bowled even one. The other bowlers had difficulty.
Short delivery, which is played into the offside. And this one is fumbled by Leewards. It will go across the boundary for 4. So the free hit has resulted in 4. Score goes on to 24 for no loss. And just a little bit surprised that they failed that extra cover for a free hit. To the same batsman didn't back off a little bit and get closer to the edge of the circle.
Should have. And it was a favorable bounce. He just a little bit shoddy, misread it.
Match awareness, Al.
Yes. Sacrifice, putting her body behind the ball.
So it's an expensive over.
Very rare for Martin.
14 from it so far. Shorter delivery, which is turned down to fine leg. The fielder from backward square is chasing, diving away, doesn't get to it, so it's another boundary.
Oh.
And so a very expensive boundary here by Martin.
Yeah.
So there's some
18.
18 runs in the over.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it's 28 for no loss, Trinidad and Tobago. And Saw has moved on to 13.
Well, not bad returns after 4 overs for nothing overly aggressive or chancy. So almost 7 runs per over at this rate. In fact, 7 runs per over, to be precise.
I think we saw Martin experimenting with different deliveries in the over. What it calls for Al is for the bowler to be steady at this point rather than experimenting. The slow ball leg side didn't work and was called a no ball as well. Here is Clark. And Boyce is getting the delivery, which is called wide, just outside the line of the off stump, going further away. And so 1 more to the score to make it 29 for no loss, Trinidad and Tobago. Bryce is on 6. Saw is on 13. Closer this time, left alone, went to the keeper. No runs.
She's having maybe a difficult time with the run up because it's almost every over she bowled her wide. She's into her 3rd now. Oh.
Slow delivery, leg side, helped around the corner, goes down to the fielder on the long leg boundary, single to Boyce to take on to 7, and it's now 30 for no loss, Trinidad and Tobago in the 5th over.
I think Clark got away with that one because it was short, wide of leg stump as well. This time Willett is much better in the outside, moving quickly to her right and feeling cleanly. No clean-up work from McCoy.
Fuller driven down the ground for 4. Beautifully done there by Saw. It was on her legs, full pitch, and she just leant into it and drove it down to the vacant long on position and picked up 4 to take the score to 34. And she takes her total onto 17.
Well, after a quiet start, she has exploded. 2 boundaries so far in her 17. But that one was up and she moved it from more or less center and off to the leg side.
Wide down the leg side, called and signaled. Score moves on to 35 for no loss.
I'm wondering, and I'm saying out loud again, is it that the run-up is giving her so much trouble? Because I've never seen her bowl that many wides in this, her 4th or 3rd over. Another one.
This one is wider and will go for 4 as well. Wide of the leg stump and gave the keeper absolutely no chance. Add 5 to the total. It's now 40 for no loss in the 5th over.
Well, after a somewhat quiet start, things have exploded for Trinidad and Tobago. And not so much to do with balls after bat, but we saw 5 wide in this over, 5 wide in the last over. That's 10 free runs plus the free hit.
Clark again. This one is driven into the offside, finds cover. No runs, end of the over. Another expensive one, 3 wides in the over, one of which went for 4. And so Trinidad and Tobago after 5 are 40 for no loss. Sow is on 17 and Boyce is on 7.
8 runs and over in this, the early goings. It's ominous for the Leewards.
And the captain has made a change. And so this looks like, is it Edwards who is coming into it? No. We'll get the shirt number when she turns around. It's Anthony, who will be bowling from the media center end. 5 overs completed. And now we see that the slip has been taken out. And the slip will be placed just forward of square. And the mid-wicket coming a little straighter. Now moving around to backward square, in fact. So Anthony has replaced Martin. She's bowling now to Boyce. And this delivery, she starts with the wide. 41 for no loss.
How many wides goes that?
Good delivery, bringing the batter forward. She plays it down the track on the onside. Mid-wicket comes across and picks up no runs.
So far, the Leewards have bowled 12 wides.
Which means that extras would be top score. 17 joint top score. Anthony is bringing the batsman, driving, and she misses, goes through to the keeper. But that time, just back of a length on the offside. And Boyce thinking that she had a scoring opportunity, but missed out.
Yeah, her eyes opened wide when she saw one pitched up, but it was just slightly moving away, and she didn't get to the pitch of it.
Good delivery again. She's behind it, and no runs.
I think in the nets that the Leewards bowling coach would ask his bowlers to be very consistent, because we've seen some good deliveries, good line, good length, followed by wide deliveries.
Driving down to the fielder at mid-off, no runs.
And I'm advised by Mr. Novel McCall, former national player, As a bowler, you don't need to try anything. Let the batsman try. Find a spot, keep it on a spot, and let them explore.
Good
And
delivery
most
again.
often
She's fishing outside the off stump.
to their own detriment.
No runs.
Runs dry up, they can't score, all sort of things pass through the mind, and then the batsman do something rash.
Bringing up a good end to the over. So apart from the indiscretion with the wide, Anthony settled and bowled the rest of the over very well. 6 completed, 41 for no loss. Trinidad and Tobago being asked to bat first.
And batting they are. They have 3 sources of runs out there. 2 batsmen and extras.
And extras doing well.
So another change in bowling, it looks like.
Yes, indeed. Shehan Moses comes into the attack.
Let's see if she can handle the run up any better, because this one has a drop off. The wicket here at Connery has a drop off a little bit deeper on the northern side. And so, as it were, the bowlers were like going up a hill before they get into any sort of flat area. And I think that bothered Clark.
Short delivery from Moses to Sau, played down to the backward square boundary for 4. Just short and on her legs, and she had time to get back in her crease and just play it down to the vacant position for 4. Score goes to 45 for no loss, Trinidad and Tobago, and Sau now moves on to 21.
I'm sure in her mind she's saying thank you, because she had all the time in the world to do what she wanted with that short ball. Field adjustment, bringing the player now to short backward square.
This one is short again, in the offside this time, slapped away down to the backward point position for 4 more. So starting with 2 boundaries in the first 2 balls. So has now moved on to 25 and the score 49 for no loss. And we're 6 overs and 2 balls in.
There was a saying in the first division cricket in St. Kitts and Nevis, you can't set a field for bad bowling. And there we had 2 innocuous short deliveries, which could be played anywhere. She can pick and choose where she wants to crack those short balls.
Here's Moses again, wide of the off stump, called and signaled wide. Extras move up to 18 now, and the score to 50. 50 for Trinidad and Tobago for no loss. We're in over number 7.
First milestone for Trinidad and Tobago.
This one is lobbed up on the onside of the pitch. No harm done.
But somehow that fools us out. She was going through the shot and then pulled back. Luckily for the ball ballooned out of reach of the follow through of Moses.
Short, played away to extra cover, no runs. Sau is on 25 from 21. Boyce on 7 from 19, Trinidad and Tobago. Sent into bat, 50 for no loss.
Surprisingly, Sau started out quietly. Boyce was the one taking the singles.
Short delivery to finish the over. End of it, Trinidad and Tobago are 50 for no loss. 7 overs completed. Sau is on 25, Boyce on 7. Extras have moved on to 18.
In other games, Jamaica is playing against Guyana at Warner Park. Barbados versus Windwards down at St. Paul's. Anthony to continue from this day, southern end. Opportunities with a lofted back drive, opportunity for a ball and caught, opportunity for mid-off to cut it, to cut it off. Neither happened. Ball goes into the boundary instead for 4 runs.
If the bowler was taking protective action.
I think so to the umpire. Umpire Abbott. That was Boyce's first boundary, I think. Yes, it is, as she moves on to 11. 11 from her 21 deliveries. Oh. Here we see the first wicket for the Leewards. A leg before. Boyce coming into her wicket. Trying to swing it into the onside. Abbott was asked and came up in the affirmative. For the first wicket goes with the score and 54. The wicket of Boyce. Leg before wicket to Anthony for 11.
Looks like Jamaica 6 for 2. Here at Connery, Trinidad and Tobago have lost their first wicket. It's 54 for 1. Jamaica 6 for 2 playing against the Windwards. Joseph has come out to replace Boyce. And she is facing up to Anthony. Outside the off stump, plays at it, goes through to the keeper. No chance of a run. Good delivery again. And it goes through to the keeper. No runs.
Yeah. Kimberly Anthony has hit a spot. And this is a spot that we've been asking him to hit, that the coaches at least. Just come a little closer to the bat. Just a little closer.
In the Barbados Windwards game, Barbados batting first, 45 for no loss in the 9th over.
You said Jamaica was 6.
6 for 2 against Guyana.
It means that game may have started late.
Drive in at a delivery just outside the off stump. Missing, goes through to the keeper. And so Anthony seems to have found a better length in this over and picked up a wicket as well. 54 for 1. Trinidad and Tobago batting first. 9 overs completed.
Well, a much better comeback after being smacked for 4 by Boyce in the first ball. She was able to come back and trap Boyce leg before wicket, and then had a little bit of false shots from Joseph. Not bad at all.
Correction, 8 overs completed.
Asking, and she's out. Caught at the wicket after ball of Moses. That's how it goes. Sweet revenge for Moses.
She was struck around in the last over, but found a better length with this first delivery, and there was Sao playing at it. She was set. She had already reached 25. As you look at the monitor now, the front foot is not going anywhere at all, Al. Nibbled at it, took an edge. Umpire had no hesitation. Center on away. It's 54 for 2.
Number 4. I think Samu is the left hander.
Is Samaru. And she's playing this down the track on the offside for no runs. And so the Leewards have claimed 2 wickets to bring them back in the game. And Moses it is who is bowling from the far end. For this delivery, she's back, plays it to backward point, no runs. A wicket in her first ball. First over went for 9. And for this delivery, it's shorter. And it's played away into the offside by Samaru. No runs. Just a little bit too short there, Al Edwards. She needs to pitch that ball up just a little bit more. Force the batter to play. Right now, she's having a bit of a sighter, having just started the inning.
Well, she should learn from her own experience. Shot, just smacked the one by Sao.
Again short, again played back down the track. End of the over, maiden over, and the Leewards would take that. Trinidad and Tobago 54 for 2, 9 overs completed.
Up to the bat, she got a wicket shot, she got smacked around. No need to have rocket science about that one. How many sound made? Joseph and
Anthony to bowl to Joseph. And it's outside the off stump, angling even further away, and called wide by the umpire. 55 for 2 in over number 10. So Anthony with a wicket to her name. And would be looking to string some dots together. This delivery, Fuller worked into the onside, finds the fielder at mid-wicket who parries it away, collects cleanly, and the score remains 55 for 2. Trinidad and Tobago got away quietly and then had some boundaries in the middle over. Middle overs, and then pulled back by the Leewards with 2 quick wickets. Anthony again. Good delivery, touching down just outside the off stump and going through to the keeper. No runs.
beating all ends up. Stretching forward, searching for it. Nothing there. It's been encouraged by Martin. We're getting accustomed to seeing this now, Carlisle. Very good balls, followed by very wide balls. Consistency, some consistency, that has to be the watchword coming from the coaching camp. Now she's found her way back, a better line, but just drifting down leg, says umpire Abbott, as they asked for a leg before. Yeah, that one looks like they're missing the next set of stumps. But they're excited. They got 2 quick wickets to the score on 54. The score moved on now just by 1 to, well, not 1, by 3 or so now. 211 for 5.
And we are back at Connery finally. 44 overs have been completed. Trinidad and Tobago are 211 for the loss of 5 wickets. Joseph is on 80 and Anissa Mohammed is on 16. 17 actually. And Roselle Leewards from the far end to bowl to Joseph. She's back, gets a short delivery, plays it down backward of point. They've crossed for 1 and will get 2 quite easily. So that will take Joseph on to 82. And the score to 213 for the loss of 5. And we're in the 45th over. Trinidad and Tobago were asked to bat first. And they have certainly batted all.
Yes, but before we get on to that, I think we should at least apologize for extended absence. We had a power outage. It seems as if we had some explosion with a transformer. We had a loud bang and then electricity left us. And it took them a while for them to repair stuff. And we're back with the action. 213 now for 5. Trinidad batting well. Posting a good total so far. Getting better.
Joseph is playing into the onside. Fielder from on the 45 has to go chasing towards backward square. Gets a single. She moves on to 83. 214 for 5 Trinidad and Tobago. In over number 45. Anissa Mohammed is on strike. And for this short delivery, she's playing into the offside, finds backward point, and they won't score. She's on 17. And this partnership is on 54 from 53 deliveries. Leewards none for 34 before this one in her 7th over. Delivery played into the offside, finds mid-off. No runs. Boyce made 11, Sow 29, 7 to Samaru, 15 to Cooper, and 12 to O'Neill. Here's a delivery which is swept into the onside, finds a fielder down at deep backward square, restricts it to a single. And so she goes to 18, does Mohammed. At the end of the over, she'll also keep the strike. End of 45, Trinidad and Tobago, 215 for 5. And if the Leewards are to get anywhere close this, they'll be traveling in uncharted waters.
Most certainly. I think they scored the highest score in a run chase against Guyana. Unfortunately, they lost by 1. Now they've been asked to go 200 plus. These two are doing very well. When the last batter out, it was 160 for 5. That's when Clark departed, caught Clark after bowling of Saxena for 12. That was 160 for 5. Since then, as we would say, Leewards, they haven't brushed the pad.
Davana Clarkson is coming in for her first bowl of the game. Mohammed is dabbing down to short third man. There's a fielder who goes tumbling away, knocks it down, it eludes a grasp. And so they'll have a second run. So Mohammed will move now to 20. 217 for 5.
Joseph had enough time for a bigger landmark and getting 100.
She was badly missed by Captain Willett before she had brought up a half century. Short delivery, played into the offside. Backward point is 3/4 of the way to the boundary. So Mohammed will get a single to move on to 21. And Trinidad and Tobago to 218 for 5 in the 46th over.
Just 4 more after this. I was asking you if you think Joseph will get to that coveted landmark.
Here is she getting a short delivery, plays it down to the sweeper on the offside, gets a single. That will take her to 84. 219 for 5.
Clarkson is looking a little better than she did in the last match we saw her. A little more control.
Again short, again played down to the sweeper position on the offside, and again they'll have a single.
They are moving on. They realize that this is the last. It's only within the last 5 overs, the last 10 overs to go. They're looking to score once, and they're scoring once freely. And I'm thinking that Joseph will get there, and she swings it.
Hit in the air, on the bounce to the fielder coming off the long on boundary. And she'll get a single, does Joseph. And that will be run number 85 for her. Trinidad and Tobago, 221 for 5. Claxton to Mohammed, short again. And played into the offside. Again finds a sweeper. And that will bring up the end of the over. So it is 222 for 5, Trinidad and Tobago. Asked to bat first, 46 overs completed. Joseph is on 85, Anissa Mohammed is on 23.
Scoring freely and scoring heavily in this tournament. Over 200 seems to be a very good total. And so they're giving Leewards a Herculean task of chasing down this, whatever the final total is. If they're scoring 6 and over, at least 6 and over, that's at least 24 more runs. 24. We could look at a total of 250 or a little more if they continue that way.
When I check the score from Warner Park, Jamaica were bowled out by Guyana for 94.
Wow. So, and I understand they had a late start.
Well, they more than made up for it. As Leewards is bowling from the far end to Mohammed. Outside the off stump, she has a swish at it, misses it, no runs.
None for 35.
On the legs, swung away down to the fielder at deep backward square, and they'll have a single to take the score to 223 for 5. Mohammed moves on to 24, brings Joseph, who is on 85, to take strike. So she would be having thoughts of getting to her century is Joseph. For this delivery, she turns it neatly off her legs into the vacant mid-wicket position. And she'll have a run to move to 86. Trinidad and Tobago, 224 for the loss of 5.
Joseph's first landmark came at 50, her first 50. Was scored in 89 balls. She struck 4 fours. Now she's heading to second 50 to complete the 100.
Outside the off stump, goes through to the keeper. No runs. 1 ball left in over number 47. This partnership is 64. Getting the delivery on the legs and sweeps it fine. That will challenge the boundary just beneath us. And it goes for 4. It was badly lined by Roselle Leewards and just helped around the corner by Anissa Mohammed. She picks up a 4 to take her on to 28. And the score is 228 for 5. 47 overs completed.
She want a signal.
Was left in the inning. And it's Joseph on strike. 86 from 127 balls. 9 fours in the inning so far. 6 runs coming in that the 47th over. As Joseph is getting a single from a delivery which is played into the onside. She moves on to 87.
Oh.
And the score is 229 for 5.
She has scored fairly quickly since her 50. Her first 50 came in 89 balls. And at the moment she's scoring at a run a ball.
Anthony bowling a short delivery which is pulled down backward of square for 4. And the bowling for the most part, and it's Claxton in fact, Davana Claxton, the bowling for the most part by the Leewards has been very, very short.
Yeah.
233 for 5. We're in over number 48. Mohammed is on 32 and Joseph is on 87. These two got together with the score 160 for 5. Here is Claxton, again short, tickled, fine. This will give the fielder from square leg a lot of work as it chases down towards the boundary, goes across the ropes now for 4. Again badly lined and played well by Anisa Mohammed. She goes now to 36 and Trinidad and Tobago 237 for 5 in over number 48.
She too is pushing on. 36 in 28 balls. I think she realizes that the 50 over is coming up and starting getting aggressive.
Just outside the off stump, she attempts to steer it down to third man, misses, no runs.
Might have gotten 4 too. I don't think there's a third man down here.
Chance of a run out, and the throw is a little bit offline, and so this scampers through for a single. Mohammed goes to 37, and the score to 238 for 5 brings Joseph, who is an 87, in to take strike.
That's the Australian bad lucky number. We take it at 13. The Australians take it at 87. Let's see if they can be locked for the Leewards.
As she misses a run, does Davana Claxton. We notice that at the far end, the groundsmen have picked up their positions close to the covers.
Well, so far it looks as if the wind is coming from the southeast and the southeast to the back of us here at the media center. So we can't see if there are dark clouds on there. They're looking on, they're keen. As that one is dabbed into the offside, another single.
Means that Joseph goes on to 88. She will keep the strike. End of over number 48. Trinidad and Tobago asks to bat first. 239 for 5.
Good score, good competitive score. Must be feeling comfortable at this time. And of course, Mohammed is asking Joseph. I'm sure it's not to take her time at this time. Push on. Team versus with the individual now, because she has an individual landmark coming up, but they probably need to score even more quickly to get to maximize this total.
McCoy will be bowling over number 49. Some 9 matches behind her. Yet to take a wicket. Joseph is on 88. She's looking to play this one into the offside. Misses. No runs. 239 for 5. Joseph on 88. Mohammed on 37. Saul made 29. 15 to Cooper. 12 to O'Neill. 11 to Boyce. McCoy misses a run. 7 to Samaru. And then the next big target will be extras.
One rate hovering around 5 and over. just about 5 and over. And here is Joseph trying to make sure it increases. She hoiks one down to the long on.
And getting 2 runs to push her into to 90. The fielder on the boundary just relaxing with the ball in her hands for a bit. And the experience of Mohammed, she came chasing back to the danger end. 241 for 5, Trinidad and Tobago. McCoy to Joseph, who is swinging. And she's bowled, is it? Yes, she was going across a wicket trying to swing this one into the onside, and it seemed to have come from a pad onto her stumps, but there is not room in the scorebook for all of that. It will just simply say bowled.
Yeah.
Yes, coming from her pads onto her stumps, the bails came rolling off. She's disconsolate.
Oh yes, 10 short of what is a coveted landmark, and there was nothing out there bothering her as such. She was simply launching into a more aggressive mode since there's only just about less than 2 overs left. And she was looking to push on.
Good partnership, 2 of 81.
Yeah, they pushed the score from 160 to 242. Let's see who's the incoming batter.
Ram Harak.
Yeah, Ram Harak.
So McCoy picking up her first wicket in this Sydney United Females 50-over cricket tournament. And we see Saxena leaving the field as the left-handed Ram Harak is on notch. She's ready to take strike now from McCoy. 241 for 6, Trinidad and Tobago in over number 49. Delivery short wide. They're chasing through for a single, and they will get it easily because the fielder lost her balance. And so a single to get her off the mark. Ram Harak. And Anisa Mohammed, who is on 37, comes up to take strike.
Richards, the one who just came in to substitute for Saxena. She definitely lost her balance and went down in prayerful mode.
Short. Here is Mohammed trying to muscle it away. Can't do much with that. So she remains on 37, 242 for 6. 1 ball left in the 49th over. Trinidad and Tobago being asked to bat, and they have certainly responded by batting well.
Can't agree with you more. Good score. And looking for more is Mohammed.
Down the leg side, swung down deep backward of square for 4. Loose delivery on the leg stump. Full toss to finish the over. And so it's swung away, and that's 4 more runs to Trinidad and Tobago. And it means that the score will move to 246 for 6, and Mohammed moves to 41 from her 30 deliveries.
Scoring very quickly. She has 6 more balls in order to do this. She too can get to a landmark if Ram Harak works the bowling very well.
Well, Al, if the bowling in the last game was good, the bowling today has been ordinary.
Yeah, we saw a lot of mixed bags. Nothing consistent. Wides. Short in particular. Short and very short.
Claxton to Ram Harak, plays it to backward square. They're chasing through for a single, but the throw is not good. It's wide of the stumps. And so Miss Anisa Mohammed comes scrambling home. And Ram Harak moves on to 2. And Mohammed, who is on 41, comes up to take strike.
Mohammed is eyeing the field. Where will she go? overheating it, not going anywhere. Bowler Claxton just came and grabbed it. But you can see the intention. Last 4 balls remaining. She would like him to disappear.
Claxton to Mohammed, who is hitting in the air. He's going down to the fielder at long off, and she drops it. She never settled herself under it, and it came from her hands, landed just about 2 feet inside the boundary. And now we see the umpire signaling 6. She has to cancel that. Now she cancels the signal for 6 and signals 4. Clearly landed about a yard inside the boundary. And so 4 runs to Mohammed nonetheless. She moves up to 45. 251 for 6, Trinidad and Tobago. Here is Claxton, and she's getting a good delivery on the legs. And they're chasing through for a single, which they have, and it's a leg by. 252 for 6. In over number 50.
A few more balls to go.
Ram Harak is on 2. Anisa Mohammed is on 45. It's Ram Harak who is facing. Claxton bowling. And for this delivery, she's swinging, cross-batted, muscles it down to mid-wicket, where Roselle Leewards plays a bit of football and then retrieves. Single to Ram Harak to take her on to 3. Anisa Mohammed is on 45. 1 ball left in the over. 1 ball left in the inning. And for this delivery, she's trying to hit it out of the ground again. And it's a good dot delivery to end the over. But the Leewards will have their work cut out. They have to make 254 runs to win this game, as Trinidad and Tobago have finished with 253 for 6. And we can tell you very quickly that Boyce made 11, Sow 29, Samaru 7, Cooper 15, O'Neill 12, Joseph 90, Anisa Mohammed 45, Ram Harak 3, and I'll get you the number of extras which were bowled in the inning to date. But the Trinidad and Tobago team finishing with a score of 253 for 6, as we see the groundsmen taking no chances. It's the lunch break. They're pulling on the covers. And in just a moment, we'll have for you some bowling figures before we take lunch.
Precautionary, because we're not seeing the drizzle coming on yet, but they're in a better position than us to see the drizzle. The bowling figures. We have Clark. Clark sent down 10 overs. Okay, Clark at 10 overs. No maidens, 1 for 53. Martin, 3 overs, 22 runs. Anthony at 7 overs, 1 for 28. Moses had 4 overs, 1 for 18. Edwards had 7 overs, 1 for 22. Leeward, 8 overs, none for 41. Union, Saxena. Saxena had 7 overs, 1 for 25. Claxton, 3 overs, none for 24. And McCoy, just the 1 over, 1 for 7.
And some 41 extras, Al. And so at the end of the inning, then Trinidad and Tobago sent in to bat by the Leewards, 253 for 6. And that's where we leave you. We'll be back with you right after lunch.
Yes.